So the Wheel of Time episode 4 just dropped on Amazon Prime yesterday, and I have to say it has become my favorite episode out of all the 4 episodes that have been dropped till now. Also, before I proceed, I must say that the show seems to have surpassed the point that I have read the book till. So from now on, I'm kind of watching the show just like everyone else who have no clue what the story has in store for them. Now, as we know, different characters have been separated from each other, and Matt and Ran are finding their way. So is Egwene and Perrin, and Maureen, Lan, and Nynaeve are on their own path. Now, there were so many bits in this episode that I absolutely loved. The way Lan and the other wardens come and sit around the fire and have their fun banter with Nynaeve around was quite a pleasure to watch. Also, I love the pacing and the structuring of the episodes that they're doing. They give you quite some breathing time, and the feel of the whole episode is just as relaxed as one would want it. It's neither too high on action nor too low. So it's a very fine balance that they have achieved. This particular episode did feature some of the direct quotes from the books and some of the direct philosophies that have been stated in the books. So if you like those bits, there's a lot of juice for you in the book. You can read it, and most of the ideas are very elaborately discussed in the book. There was one specific conversation which I loved to watch on the screen, and there's a quote which I'll share with you. It's when one of the characters say, "The only way to stop violence is everyone everywhere has to stop at once." Now, that was one line which was delivered really nicely in the episode, and I loved the way it was put through. But there were a lot of other bits as well which I was expecting to see, but they didn't include it, which is very understandable. You cannot just put in each and every line in dialogue from a 600 to 700 page book. So that's totally okay. As I was watching this particular episode, I did also notice that this show is being able to achieve this very fine balance of revealing the world that they're talking about and the story that they want to tell at the same time. They're not taking extra special time just to establish the world and just to tell you where the events are happening and all of that. They just take you through it, and side by side the story is also progressing at quite some pace. Now, this brings me to one of the criticisms that I felt while watching the show. I think they are rushing it. I just felt that so much is happening so fast that it's kind of failing to have the kind of impact which it might have had otherwise. There's something that happens towards the end of this episode. I'm not going to get into spoilers, so I'm not going to detail out the incident for you. But that particular incident, it just made me feel that this just happened too quickly. If they would have spread it over time, the connections that the characters were establishing would have felt stronger, and it just kind of lost its impact to quite some extent because it just happened a bit too fast and a bit too quickly in the show, like right away. I do understand we have 14 to 15 long books to cover, but the whole pleasure of diving into the world of Wheel of Time is you just spend so much of time in the world with the people. That's what a major strength of this series is, and that somehow seems to be getting lost in the show somewhere. But I also do understand it's a very tricky call to take because no one likes watching a slow paced story these days. So what's being done is done. I was just going through all the other reviews that people are sharing about this one episode, and many mentioned that the battle sequence between the Aes Sedais and the people who come to do something for one particular character, that whole thing didn't work as well. But while I was watching it, I had quite some fun, and it did also remind me of Jedi and the way things used to happen with the Jedis when they used to fight in the Star Wars series. So I pretty much enjoyed it quite a bit, and I also saw this one episode has so many of those iconic shots which one would want to just take screenshots of and use them as their wallpapers. There were so many shots like that. So since I had not read the books and since I didn't know how things were going to happen, there's something really very jaw-dropping that happens at the end of the episode, which actually made me fall in love with this show all over again. So that is what worked for me the most. But again, for that very one thing, that criticism also applies, which I just shared with you before. So that's how it is. The show is progressing at a phenomenal pace, and it's putting a lot of pressure on me to finish the books. So let's see how much I can cope up. If I don't, I'll just probably drop the idea of reading the books before watching the show. So maybe I'll just enjoy the show as everyone else who has no idea what the books are all about and they're just watching the show. Alright guys, that's basically it for this one episode. I loved it. It was a lot of fun watching it. There's so much that happens in this episode, it's not even funny. Go ahead, start watching it, and if you've seen it, I would love to know how you liked it. Also, I would like to mention that these days I'm reading this book called Beautiful World, Where Are You? Now, this is quite a departure from the genre that we're talking about, but still, I thought I would share my thoughts about this book because this is one book after a very long time which has a very strange appeal on me. I'm not growing very fond of the characters in the book, but there are some thoughts which are just the kind of thoughts that I keep pondering upon all the time, because one of the characters in this book is a writer, and the kind of questions that particular character keeps throwing about world literature and how books are written all over the world and what kind of books are received and how they're received are very close to the kind of questions I keep asking. So when I finish this book, I will share my thoughts about this book as well, and I'm so excited to see the next episode. So that's it. Until next time, guys, stay healthy, stay safe, keep watching, keep reading. Cheers.